Hello, I'm a yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Um, it's been a minute. I said I would take a break. You guys get that. It's fine. You already know I'm a duck. We don't have to go through that whole piece. And I need to finally finish this. So, let's talk about tension. This is part 4 of my personal project titled Chill Light. I tried my best to illustrate a beautiful feeling and energy that I get from very specific songs and types of music. There were a lot of different concepts that came from this, and to this day I think back about what I could do better to reach this energy. The first step to this is reviewing what we've got so far. So, let's get into the video. By now you should know that music is my muse. This entire project has been guided by it. The songs that reached me so far were pulled from my past, but one day during this study, that changed. I was working on multiple pieces of art which have not seen the light of day, and suddenly was recommended a song via YouTube. I decided not to listen to it then, but for some reason, I was drawn to banish it into a purgatory of which things either spend anywhere from a week to an eternity. It was a cruel fate to cast upon this video, but I was left with no choice, as I needed to save the possibility for my enjoyment. Perhaps I would release it, perhaps not. All of this relied on the generosity I may so happen to... Ouch! I press play. Too late to back out now. Camila Cabello is known for a lot of different songs, but I personally think that there is one song of hers that is heavily underrated. That is the one that inspired me immediately, and I had no choice but to listen to it over and over, the scene in my head building more and more. I needed to stop everything and start working on this new art now. And so the sketch was born. I knew that I wanted, overall, a certain type of feel. But in order to do this properly, I had to split my two subjects and work on them separately. It was working out well so far, but the bane of my existence at the time, clothing, again found a way to torment me. Why is it that I succeed in one aspect of this and somehow unknowingly put myself in a brand new version of this problem? It's literally that feeling like when you learn to do a math problem and then the next one has a variable you've never seen before. Like, that's not the same problem. Don't lie to me. Teachers always try to. Don't get me wrong, in art, I live for this. I just didn't think I'd be placing myself in challenges like this by accident. Either way, her dress is still simple but flowy and nice, while his outfit is basic. Lesson 1 from this piece: build outfit equality for multi-subject art. Since I worked a background into feel, I figured it would make sense for me to have that take a back seat in this. The scene is about these two people and these two people only. The energy felt between them, yeah, okay, that technically that is a star of the show, but putting a crowd behind them, like in feel, would probably only distract from my focus. There's a way to make it work realistically, but I wasn't trying to overwhelm myself. Since we're here, side note. This ties into what I mentioned in Reach, but don't get distracted. If your art is meant to say something, let that message take precedence. If you find something to strengthen the theme, then go for it. However, placing something just because you expect it to be there might pull you away from your overall goal. This is especially true if it's not up to par compared to the rest of the art. Let's say, you draw a cat sitting in a field. Your message here is peace, tranquility, simplicity. It's beautiful and you're happy, but you question whether you should have some sort of background. Your options here are to do like a quick color splash, Maybe a tree, maybe multiple trees, flowers, leave it blank. Honestly, they're pretty much endless. If you take the forest route, you have to make sure that you're matching the art style well. It must be simple. I'm not saying that it can't work or there's a wrong choice in any of the options I mentioned before, but what if you make these trees too detailed because that's what you're used to when drawing trees? Now the message in your art could be compromised. Know the mission of your art. That's what matters in the moment. It's all experimentation though, so don't be afraid to colossally ruin your hopes and dreams. Moving on. While coloring here, I realized something. I didn't have a reference for this woman's back. I actually didn't have a reference for any of this. So I guess it didn't seem like that big of a deal initially. The problem surfaced when thinking about it and the complexities of the exposed skin on her back. It's such a large surface that I truthfully hadn't achieved the level of skin rendering. Terrible. Where am I? Damn, this thing is sliding. I hope this didn't mess up audio. It's such a large surface, and I truthfully hadn't achieved the level of skin rendering that I wanted to. The reason for this was because I hadn't done a study on it yet. Those of you paying attention might figure out exactly how this ended up playing out. You might be able to guess what I did after finishing this. Yes, this piece is the prelude to me doing my back study. I told you, everything is connected here for me. I will say that I did an okay job here for not having studied backs or skin at all, and I even sprinkled in some subsurface scattering to give the skin a lively glow. Not that it matters, because in the end, I piled on too much of everything else while trying to render more of this this skin, this shiny feel. Looking at this makes me angry sometimes. Just this. At this point, it's barely noticeable that I did anything to it. The main issue there was that I wasn't well versed in what I was trying to render. But if I had better understanding of it in the first place, I could have saved myself by just saving this for a later point in the art. Oh well, at least I learned from it. I tortured myself with plenty of cleanup throughout, adding depth and texture. Eventually, I took multiple attempts at shading. That's a problem, but I'll come back to it in a bit. For some reason, I had these two individuals looking at the viewer. I just thought it looked cool. But remember what I said earlier about sticking to the mission of the piece? How am I building tension between these two people if they aren't even focused on each other? Yep, fix it right now. That was a mistake I caught, but when I didn't was all the different times I shaded on layers back and forth. Yep, so now we can talk about it. I was clearly everywhere with how I was creating the scene, and I made it way too complicated. When really things just needed to be approached with much more simplicity. Again, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this piece of art, and I had a lot of fun creating it, but being the slightest bit retrospective led me to learn new and exciting things right there, right after completing it. Here, I had to fix fingers multiple times throughout the process, when this stuff should have been solidified long before. Lighting was everywhere, but I will say that I love the texture on the clothing, and in the background too. Of course, I had to use the staple for all of the chill light pieces, which are those beautiful club lasers. Club lasers, jeez. Of course, I had to utilize the staple of all chill light pieces, which were the beautiful club lasers. But with that, I was done. Ultimately, I realized that there was too much for me to learn properly and continue this version of this. So many studies came from the creation of these things that I needed to take a step back and build. This was essentially a failure. The art was done, but I couldn't continue on to the next piece because there was so much I needed to educate myself on. It was time to step away from the chill light. Even though I called it a failure, for me, this was one of the biggest wins I had that whole year. So much was clearly laid out for me. I knew exactly what to do next. So I left everything on the cutting room floor. A feeling of closeness and energy unseen. I let go of the tension. Well, everyone, we are back, and there are a few changes that are happening. Initially, we're going to talk about it. The sofa voice, we're getting rid of it right now. Just to be very clear, the original sofa voice was very, hello, I am a duck. And now, we're going to just dial back to my normal voice because it just works better. And a lot of times I end up talking about all this art stuff and I end up in the normal voice anyway. So you guys probably barely even noticed. Regardless of all that though, I am kind of one of those people that aspires to be a voice actor here and there. I've never really put a lot of work into it, but maybe we'll do that. Maybe that's an adventure we'll go on at some point. Who knows? For now, you guys are going to have regular sofa voice. We're not doing too much with all the, trying to be very specific and have that vision of who the duck is. No, the duck is me. I am the duck. I'm still the duck. Don't play games. I'm still this duck doing art on YouTube. It's fine. Don't worry. I'm not changing a whole lot. I'm just being a little bit more chill with the voice. Now, you're watching this and you're seeing, Sofa did all of these things and he did that and whatever. In this video, he finally gave us tension. Yes, I finally gave you tension. We'll talk more about the art journey specifically. We'll break our way down through a lot of different things, but I want to get closer to more the new stuff because I have a lot. Also, we do have a whole lot going on with developing Christmas in White and Blue. You'll get updates at some point, but not right now. We're working on it. We're not there yet. So yeah, expect to see Christmas in White and Blue at the end of the year, but I'm not gonna promise, but I'll give you an update here and there before we get there. So hopefully, if you guys are interested, you hang around, you see what's going on here, you watch what's in the channel, maybe you learn some art things from me. I'm learning them from everybody else as I steal all of their secrets. Regardless of all that though, I hope you guys are enjoying stuff here on the channel. I hope you're enjoying the art. There is more to come. There's a lot more to come. I have a lot of different things that are planned, that are already prepared for the year. So if you're interested, stick around because the duck is here to stay. With that being said, I'll see you soon.